On Tuesday, I had a lunch date with Morgan Silva, who I had not met before, down at the plaza here in Ashland, because I wanted to give him my undivided attention. I turned off my phone, and after lunch, I set out for Trinity, and as I was walking up the street, I turned it on again and saw that I had some notifications. And one was a text message from Mary Piper saying that there was a pastoral emergency, and could I please give her a call? So I did, and that was when she told me that Stuart McCollum had died. And she was there at the house with Anne, and could I please come? And I said, of course, give me 15 minutes. And when I got there, Mary informed me that she performed the final anointing of Stuart's body, and that together she and Anne had said the litany, the time of death, and the prayers that one says for a Christian soul departing this world, the prayer of commendation, the Lord's Prayer. But could I please say some more prayers? And of course, there was a prayer book in the house. I'd forgotten to bring one of my own. And so I offered a couple more prayers. And just about the time that I was finished praying, the young ladies from the mortuary arrived. And Anne and Mary and I left the bedroom and went out into the main part of the house. We visited there for a while. And then the young women came in to say that they had Stuart's body ready to go. And would Anne like to come and say goodbye one more time? And she said that she would. Back into the bedroom, and they unzipped the bag so that Anne could see Stuart's face one last time. And I said another blessing. And we went out onto the back deck. It was a beautiful spring afternoon. The sun was shining, birds were singing. Over in the neighbor's yard, just across the fence, maybe 20 or 25 feet away, a doe was lying on the grass with her legs folded under her, completely still and unafraid, keeping watch is how it seemed. And as they were wheeling Stuart's body around the corner of the house, Anne said to me, I don't know how people can do this without the church, without that support. How do people do this without the church? Which was how I was feeling. I was so thankful. Thankful to Mary for having taken Anne's call. Thankful to Anne for having the wisdom to call Mary when she couldn't reach me. Thankful to Kara, who was working at home that day because her son was sick, and took the call from Mary asking for my cell phone number so she could send me that text message. Thankful to Trinity Church and the other churches that formed in Anne such deep faith, for all the ways that you have loved and supported and been in companionship with Anne and Stuart over these many, many years. Thankful to the knitting ladies who joined me in blessing a prayer shawl on Thursday morning to take up to Anne's house. Thankful for the kindness and the prayers and the love. But a question that came to me since that day is not so much how do people do this without the church, but how does the church keep doing this? How do we keep showing up for one another? Year after year, decade after decade, century after century, in the face of death, of loss, in the face of human ignorance and folly and violence and injustice. How do we keep showing up for one another in this world where so little can be taken for granted? So much that is beautiful is continually passing away. And what our scriptures tell us today is that we can do this because we have a life. A life that's not ours exactly, though it was laid down for us. A life that came to us from God. The life of the Good Shepherd, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who laid down his life for the sheep. Now, none of us probably particularly likes to think of ourselves as a sheep. If, someone were to ask you, what's your totem animal? You probably wouldn't choose a sheep, It'd be something a little more glamorous, like a bear or an eagle or, at least a salmon or something. Yet at times like these, sheep kind of fits. Because what we need most is to belong, to be a part of a flock, where we are all equals. No one's lording it over another person, but we're all just sheep together in the flock. Because none of us can really make it very well on our own. That's what the gospel says. The hired hand doesn't care for the sheep. And so when the wolf comes, he runs away. And then the wolf seizes the sheep and scatters them. And a sheep by itself out there in the wilderness doesn't stand much of a chance against the wolf. It's when the sheep are together in the flock that their odds improve markedly. Jesus says, speaking of his flock, that it includes not only us, not only the people of Israel, but it includes another fold. It potentially includes everybody, all humankind. He has come to lay down his life for everyone. Call us into that unity of belonging, mutual care, mutual love that leaves nobody out. It's that hope, that vision, that promise made so tangibly real for us in the person of Jesus that nourishes our life together, even in the face of sorrow and death, all the troubles that afflict us, poor human sheep. It's that promise of knowing the true purpose, the true beauty, the true meaning of human life. A life that the wolf cannot destroy. And that's reflected in our gospel passage today. You know, Jesus, once he's done talking about the hired hand who runs away and the wolf that comes, and how the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep, he's done talking about the wolf. He moves on to talking about knowing him, being known by him. And that the knowing with which we know him and by which he knows us is the same knowing with which he knows the one that he calls Father, the God, the Creator, the beginning and the end, the source, the destiny of all things. And not only knows that Father, but is known by the Father. That powerful knowing, that knowing that is only accomplished in the Spirit that comes to us from God, is the same knowing with which we know Christ. He knows us. The wolf can't bring that to an end. Can't snatch that out of Christ's hand. You know, in the first centuries of Christian art, at least those artifacts that are known to us, there are no representations of Jesus on the cross. And there are no images of Jesus enthroned as, judge and ruler of the universe. Those pictures would come later. But what you find on the walls of the catacombs in Rome and in the early Christian house churches in Asia Minor are images of the Good Shepherd. A young man with a vest and boots, with a lamb draped across his shoulders, and a smile on his face. The risen Christ, the Good Shepherd of the sheep. And he's usually depicted in the midst of springtime beauty, of birds and flowers and trees and deer. An image of life that is victorious over death. An image of joy that surpasses all sorrow. An image of kindness and care, and of love that never ends.